a matric certificate is still a passport to opportunities. That's according to Marley Mansfield from the Zero Dropout campaign. Mansfield believes the qualification sets matriculants apart.
What we did is we wanted them to have the best learning possible. So matrics were at school every day, and then after school we also provided distance learning where we had expert teachers, and it was then streamed through to different schools in different areas and certain subjects that took place after school hours as well as during weekends, and of course during holidays we utilized any time available. We have a telematics program which we have partnered with the Stellenbosch University, which also beams lessons to learners, and it also there's free resources online for learners to download in terms of data. And we've also given them booklets, examination exemplars that were free, that were sent to schools. We printed those for learners, revision documents that were printed for learners as well at free cost. So there's been a lot of support given to learners, and we just hope that they utilize this time wisely, and we wish them the very best of luck in these exams.
All right, let's continue with our focus on education today. 28 days left until the class of 2021 are going to be writing their final exams, and we've got our reporters that are looking at this. They are speaking to some pupils, they're speaking to some parents as well. Lethiwe Mdluli is in Durban for us. Ayesha Ismail is in Cape Town for us, and Masego Rahlaga is in Tembisa. Masego, let's start with you. What have they been telling you? You're speaking to the pupils, you're speaking to the parents. How ready are they for the matric exams coming up in a couple of weeks' time?
In fact, Clement, I've moved from Tembisa to Alexandra, and that's where we are today. What Thamsanqa Kamani and I did today was crisscross around Gauteng. Obviously, there's just two of us, and we can't cover everything, but we tried to cover the city of Tshwane to show you what pupils and teachers think there, and then went to Ekurhuleni, and now we are in Johannesburg in the area of Alexandra. And I'm just going to ask you to walk in with Thamsanqa and I right now at Alexandra High. The pupils are attending an extra lesson, and as you can see, there are teachers, different teachers. Even the principal is here. There's a teacher who is assisting one of the matriculants. So these are some of the interventions really that the schools have been saying they have. Matric pupils, for instance, in some schools will not go on recess when schools close next week. Some of them are actually learning from Monday through to Sunday. So that's basically what you find, what we found here in Alexandra. And I'm just going to speak to four of the pupils that I identified here on this side. Hi, what's your name?
My name is Khotso.
Khotso, are you ready for this exam? What are you studying today? I don't even remember any of these figures.
We're studying geography. We're writing on Friday, so I'm ready. Yes.
Is it this Friday? Was that a prelim?
It's the prelim, but this Friday.
And is this helping you prepare for the finals as well?
Yes, they prepared a revision session for us to help us for the final, for the prelim, so that we can become ready. They're reminding us all the basics that we need to know. Yes.
Khotso, good luck for the prelims and the finals. Ne? Let me go to another pupil. Sisi, I see you also writing there. Anxiety, you've basically missed 2 academic years, or 2 of your academic years have been disrupted, and these are very important years of your high school career. Explain to me about your anxiety and how you are able to cope with it.
Actually, my anxiety is failure. I'm scared of failing, that's what I can say. And last year was a hard year, even this year was a hard year, but because of the teachers and our principal, we were able to adjust and we were able to cope with everything that we are doing right now.
Okay, so good luck to you too. As you heard there, Clement, they are doing revision work for geography. That's the paper they're writing in their prelims on Friday, and on the 28th they start with their final exams. Final exams coming in 28 days' time. Are you ready?
I'm very ready for them.
What makes you say that after such a difficult 2 years?
Well, the teachers in our school have been preparing us for this. They've been doing extra lessons, cross night, everything. So I'm very ready for them.
Yes. Thank you very much. And I think, Clement, what was interesting for me was the fact that they do have laptops from the Gauteng province. That is from the paperless classroom. And I think for an area like Alexandra, you can imagine how this is helpful for the pupils. How are you coping? How are these extra lessons helping you? Are they helping you at all?
Yes, they do help me a lot. And I think to be here with the other learners learning geography, it's really important for us so that we can prepare for exams. And what is important is studying hard, you know. We need to study hard, we need to unite and thank our teachers, the job that they are doing. So that's it, yeah.
Is geography a subject that you struggle with, or are you okay with it?
So far, based on geography and my performances, I think geography is a subject which I have a lot of strengths, you know. Yeah, so I don't struggle.
Thank you very much, guys, for speaking to us, and good luck to all of you, and of course their classmates as well. As you can see, Clement, behind me, still a lot of learning. Some of these pupils actually end up leaving very late at night. I found out in some schools actually all the way through to midnight they're here learning, and as you heard from one of the matriculants, she is scared of failing, and that is what drives her.
Well, good luck to them. Cross night, lots of extra lessons there, Masego, live to us from Alexandra. Let's move over to Cape Town now, where we're joined by reporter Ayesha Ismail. Ayesha, you spoke to the Western Cape Education, Department. Are they ready for the final exams?
Well, Clement, according to the Western Cape Education Department, they are as ready as can be for the matric class of 2021. They say that they have provided enough support to pupils and to teachers throughout the year, and they just wishing them everything of the best for the final exams. Now, I also spoke to a number of matric pupils in the province, and they were saying to me that despite the hard year that they've experienced, despite the challenges that they've experienced, and obviously being anxious for their final exams, they are determined to complete this year successfully. But they also had some advice for their parents and their teachers, and these include being cognizant of children's mental health and also not to place undue pressure on them. Also, some of the teachers and especially in poorer areas were saying to me that the COVID-19 pandemic has just made their work so much harder, given that they are already struggling with crime, poverty and unemployment in their areas.
All right, let's move over to Durban now in KwaZulu-Natal, where we find our reporter Lethiwe Mdluli. Lethiwe, how are things looking your side?
Well, Clement, there's a lot of issues that KZN is dealing with. I spoke to a few unions in the province who were telling me that the shortage of teachers in the province is affecting teaching and learning in schools. I also spoke to a few teachers in different schools in Durban, and they were telling me some of the preparations that they've done for the final exams. We do know that there's only 28 days left until the class of 2021 sits down to write their final exams. But KZN at the moment is struggling with those issues, the shortage of teachers, the issue of infrastructure, and also on top of that, we are dealing with COVID-19 infections. We are, as a province, currently under the third wave. But at the moment, I'm joined by Dr. Pani Mthembu from the KZN Department of Education. Dr. Mthembu, good afternoon. We've been speaking to unions, we've been speaking to different schools, and some of the issues that they've raised has to do with the shortage of teachers. But my first question has to do with, is KZN ready for the matriculants' exams?
I would say we are ready, but readiness is not from one angle. There's readiness in terms of curriculum coverage. There is readiness in terms of learner readiness. There is readiness administratively that we are going to print papers, distribute, and do all those things. Let me start with academic readiness. In terms of academic readiness, we have done a survey in the province, and we sent it to the 12 districts. They indicated to us the schools which started late in teaching their subjects because of the non-employment of teachers at that particular time. And then we also followed up. So by the time we went to trial examinations, all schools were between 90 and 100% curriculum coverage. The majority of schools were at 100%. Now, this tells us that there was relatively a high level of readiness in schools. But we should also look at the other side of readiness. Are the learners themselves ready? Now, the only way to see whether learners are ready or not, one is to mark the trial exams, and you look at the marks, and once you look at their marks, you identify knowledge and skills gaps, you close those gaps. So the issue of readiness for learners, then it's accumulative, it's continuous. We are doing revision right now because we want to consolidate learner readiness. So I would say, as a province, we are ready to write the 2021 National Senior Certificate Examination.
Now, coming back to the issues that KZN is faced with in terms of the shortage of teachers, the unions have been calling for the department to hire more teachers, and also the substitute teachers. There's a problem there also. As a department, what do you have to say about this?
You see, the issue of the shortage of teachers, the way you articulate it sometimes becomes a problem, because you can have a shortage of teachers, but because we have district directors, we have circuit managers, we have principals, we have subject advisors. So what we did in view of that kind of a situation, we decided to do something. One of the things that we did was to get the subject advisors themselves getting into class to teach. Of course, some of the teachers were overworked because they had to teach more learners than they are supposed to teach. Also, we identified those teachers who are good and who are called lead teachers, those who actually complete their curriculum earlier to come and assist. So there's a lot that we did in trying to offset the impact of the shortage of teachers in the province. Yes, indeed, we are not denying that there were problems around that, but we did something about it.
In terms of the budget cuts, there are reports that there's going to be a retrenchment of teachers at schools. We are already faced with the problem of the shortage of teachers, and now there are reports that there's going to be retrenchments. Where are we with that process?
I think if you say there's going to be retrenchment, it doesn't sound like you're talking to people who have the interest of children and the nation at heart. We're articulating that as a possibility, that it can lead to that. But we have already presented to the cabinet two scenarios to say, let us do something about it, let us get more funds so that we maintain the status quo, keep things as they are. Or if that does not happen, then we will be compelled to retrench. Now, we got support from the cabinet that something should be done. The Premier should assist in trying to get funding that is going to offset this. So in our view, we do have hope that the option of not retrenching, of maintaining the status quo, is an option that is going to stay. However, we are still waiting for a final report from the Premier and our MEC to say how far they have gone. They have gone a long way in trying to resolve it. All in all, nobody is for retrenchment because you're thinking about a learner in the classroom, you're thinking about the future of learners, you're also thinking about the teachers you're talking about if you say you retrench. So we are not for retrenchment. We are doing, in fact, we are running a life run in as far as this is concerned. We are doing anything that we can do just to save the situation.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mthembu.
Thank you.
So, Clement, that was Dr. Mthembu from the Department of Education, just basically saying that the province of KZN is ready for the final exams, and he's also touched on the fact that the Treasury here in KZN has informed the department to retrench some teachers, but they are saying that they are avoiding that situation.
All right, Lethiwe Mdluli live to us from Durban in KwaZulu-Natal, Masego, Rahlaga in Alexandra, and Ayesha Ismail in Cape Town.